who has had these inexplicable symptoms in the past month? Have you been feeling like anxious without reason, or unable to sleep well, or even having some high blood pressure?
I waked up and I was all nervous. My blood pressure was very high. And I'm all stressed from when I waked up in the morning. And
anybody?
Me too. Some days I have no idea why it goes so high. And suddenly my blood pressure is going up. And that's other symptoms, I just haven't been feeling, and I slowed down. In fact, I didn't go to my bone exercises or didn't go to some other activities. I decided to take it easy.
That's the reason why I didn't come yesterday, is I just didn't feel right. And I Googled if Mercury is in retrograde, and it says we're not. So what is it?
Did you know that the solar activity is at its highest this year and the next 2 years, and they may be impacting your health?
Hi, and welcome back to my channel, Healing Without Medicine. My name is Dr. Lei, and I'm a physician turned health educator and coach. And my mission is to empower you to heal without medicine with simple solutions rooted in Eastern and Western medical practices.
Where we're going to be talking about the solar activity and how it's impacting our health, and what can we do to harness that energy for our benefits. So join me in this video. That one of my passions is astronomy. Love watching the night sky. And by also being a physician turned health educator and coach, I cannot stop thinking about what this increased solar activity or affect our health. It all started in late August, when all of a sudden my blood pressure went high and it was unable to come down. So then I thought it was something that I was just doing, but I couldn't think what. Around me, I began noticing people also complaining about vague symptoms, especially like either very anxious. One of my friends also, the blood pressure went up. The other friend was tired. No explainable reason. Okay, Pia called me this week and she said, Lily, I don't know what happened to me, but I had a hip pain that I thought it was cured 30 years ago. I was fine. And then it came back again. Another of my students, she fell and she hit her head on the street. And she was complaining all this week that she was like a little bit out of balance. She was unable to focus, and she could not explain the why. The event that triggered me to investigate about the increased solar activity and the relationship with the human health is that on May 10th to 12th, there was a report of a very increased solar activity that disrupted the GPS of farmers. I don't know whether you know, the farmers, the big commercial farmers, they use the GPS on their tractors to help sow or to help till. They need the GPS for direction. And apparently that weekend, none of these GPS on all of these farmers work. So then that triggered my curiosity. I'm like, okay, it called my attention to look at the sun. Something was happening to the sun. Creating this video, I discovered that they've been studying this forever. They already know a lot of correlation between solar activities and human health, behavior. And now I'm going to show you my research. So the question is, how does the sun activity affect our health? It's already known that when there's like increased solar activity, there's an increase in death by cardiovascular, by the heart. That the solar and geomagnetic activity is related with an increase in blood pressure in a large group of people, predominantly white elderly men. But hey, I would say that, they have to review that, because there's a lot of ladies here, including me, that I have, that we're experiencing that. Okay, just to tell you that I'm so late in the game that when I just checking on all this research, they already have like a graph of, you know, how this solar activity or the solar wind affect affect the planet Earth and the humans. So let me just see. Let's just begin from the left, clockwise to the right. I'm beginning here. Here it says that it affects the white blood cells in the blood. Okay, so your leukocyte number, your white cells is going to just be down, because if the arrow is down, it decreases. Also, it's going to increase your cholesterol and the melatonin, and decrease your triglyceride, the healthy triglyceride, decrease your growth hormone and the prolactin. Growth hormone has a lot to do with the quality of your sleep, so it's also disturbed. Here, frequency of migraine episodes. Yes, I have, there's a lot of report, and I have been seeing lately on, you know, when I go through Facebook, people complaining of headache, not knowing why. Then here, of course, what you saw, this is very concerning, heart attack. Not so much stroke, they review that, but there's an increase of death by cardiovascular disease during the solar activity. Platelets, they're going to get sticky, so a lot of more clots. So basically, it's going to increase your arterial pressure, so the blood pressure goes up. Also, it's going to increase your heartbeat, okay, and therefore your HRV. This is an important parameter that I'm going to talk later. So let's summarize the health effect of the solar radiation. It lowers the count of the white blood cells, raises the cholesterol, and raises the triglycerides, lower the melatonin, lower the growth hormone, raise the blood pressure, increase the heart rate, and it makes the red blood cells stickier, increasing the risk for creating clots, and it lowers the HRV, which I'm going to talk about that later. And next, we're going to examine the connection between our symptoms and recent solar activity among the members of my meditation group. I'm going to share with you the calendar to see what are the days that we did the Qigong, and what are the days that I noticed that people were like, you know, having symptoms. So everything was okay until the second week. So keep in mind this date, 25, 26, 27. See, this is the Space Weather website where they tell you by date. Can you see it on the left? The activity. So look at this. I found October 24. Look at this. Whoa, this is a solar activity they were monitoring. Boom. Takes about, they say, 2 or 3 days for us to feel the effect. So keep that date, 10/24. Okay, 24, here it is. And then on the weekend, we all felt the effect. Okay, so then I say, well, there's something in here I should share with all of you guys. Let's talk about HRV. This is an important parameter to understand the next information I'm going to present. Is being used in hospital and doctors to really assess your health. In this study published in Nature, it is found a correlation between this HRV, this measure of human health, and changes in the solar activity. Look at the graph here. The upper 2 lines is the measurement of the solar activity, and the bottom line, the third line at the bottom, it measures the HRV time. And did you see when there's an activity in the sun, there's a lag time, and then the human heart responds. In other words, what happened in the sun, it also can happen in our bodies. What happened is that doing this research for this video, I went like, I realized that I think I'm also being affected by the increased solar activity. And indeed, we are at the peak, the cycle of our solar activity. This solar activity goes in cycles. So they go every more or less 10 to 11 years, they reaches a peak. And apparently our peak this time is the highest since the past 20 years. And it's going to continue for 2 more years. I think it's worth to pay attention to this cycle. We have one more thing to be aware when something goes wrong in our body. Now that you're aware of the solar activity, there are apps that you can download on your phone that can just track the solar activity and let you know when one of these flares or mass ejection comes down to the earth, so you can be prepared. Prepare for what? We're going to review on the next video. So make sure to subscribe. In the following videos, where I'm going to tell you in more detail how is it going to affect us and what can we do in order to either harness this energy or to avoid a health crisis. Like, there's a lot of things that we can do to really mitigate that effect. And that I'm going to review it in the following videos. So make sure to subscribe.
And thanks for watching.